Ax, what are some of the biggest things that you think you've learned through the first 4 games of the season?
Most of the pace, I think. It's a quick game out there, so you got to be alert at all times. Sometimes you don't have a play, just get a glass out, stuff like that.
And what is the key to adjusting to that for you?
I think just experience, getting these experiences, playing against very good teams. Getting help from my teammates too. I think that's a very helpful thing. So just getting the experiences of these games.
You felt like you and Simon have complemented each other on the ice.
I mean, he's a big guy. He's a Swede too, so there's a little connection there. And then he's very good in the D zone. I think that helps me a lot. And I think we play simple from our own end. Like try not to do 5 D-to-D passes before getting it up. Just 1 D-to-D pass and straight up. So I think we complement each other good.
The amount of minutes you've played so early, do you think that, I'm sure there's a challenge to that, but does it maybe speed up the learning curve a little bit too of how much you've been able to play these first 4 or 5 games?
Oh yeah, I mean just the experiences, like playing a lot of minutes, having the puck on my stick, playing in the D zone, just positioning and knowing who we play against. I think that's very helpful.
What's the comfort level for you at this point?
I don't know. I just try to go out there and play hockey. I don't try to think too much. Really, just go out and play.
The mistakes that you have made, has Todd been able to point those out to you, or how do you go about it when there is something that you might get wrong on the ice and something that you need to fix?
There's can't always be perfect. That's it's an unfortunate part, but I think I know myself when I've done something wrong. They'll come with tips and tricks and how to avoid that stuff. But most of the times, I know what I did wrong and what I got to do instead.
What have your early impressions of Trent Yanni been? He's worked with so many top young defenders throughout the league.
He's a great guy. He's fun to be around off the ice here at the rink. So a great coach too. Like he tells you. I can't find a word. Like he tells you what he feels. He doesn't hold back on anything. So I really like that, and he's direct and wants to win. So I really like that about him.
Thank you.
Todd, it looked like Lucas not ready yet, or what's his status?
No, he won't play today. Remains day to day, but getting better.
Okay. Just these last 3 games, just what have you thought of Bernard Docker? He seems to have brought a kind of a stability there. I mean, I know you don't read a lot into plus minus, but +4. Just what have you thought of his play?
You use the word stability when you ask the question, and I think we get that from him. It's a pretty good idea now that he's been around pro hockey for a while, what he is and how he can excel using the toolbox that he's been given. And that steadiness, simplicity has come out since we put him in the last 3 games. Him and Albert have been a pretty good pair, one that we really trust.
You called JVR essentially a savvy veteran. What have you liked the most about his play or his conduct off the ice in terms of his leadership, especially with so many young rookies in the room?
Well, he's been tremendous when it comes to that, but he's also been, the group, forget the management and the coaches, the group's allowed him to take care of what's really important. And that would be obviously his family and his little ones. And since he's been back, it feels like he wants to give back too, so it's a real good combination. I see him every morning sitting with the guys having breakfast or lunch before or after practice, and a wide range of seatmates, if you will, from young to old. Doesn't ever really seem, or hasn't seemed down or grumpy or out of sorts, and he's still got things going on at home, but he's been able to manage that well. And then you put him on the ice, and on the bench he talks to his line mates, he asks questions of the coaches, and so he's comfortable. He's played so many games and for so long on so many teams. He's comfortable carrying himself the way he does.
The other night, JVR made some comments about Dylan Larkin as a captain, some really positive comments about what he's experienced since joining the Red Wings. Just what does that tell you about Dylan from the perspective of somebody that's been in the league so long that JVR is, to think that way so early on?
Yeah, he just confirms what we all think of Dylan. When outsiders come into the locker room, they're paying attention, maybe more so than the family that's already here. They're looking around. They're trying to figure out who the alphas are. They're trying to figure out how this goes down, not just for our team, for any team. And the fact that he's noticed that Dylan has a presence and that Dylan steps up in front of the group and for the group. Those are real good signs. And there's nothing that he's telling us that we didn't know. He's just confirming it.
You may have just answered a little bit of what I'm going to ask you about here, but we all know what the goal is for the ultimate prize at the end of this regular season, but you've got a really interesting mix of young and old in this to help you accomplish that goal. How has that come into play to quickly turn things around after subpar opening night and help you maintain this success that you've built in the last 3 games?
There's been a lot of attention put on the 3 20-year-olds that have gone into the lineup, and rightfully so. They've, from day one at training camp to, what are we at, game 5 now, they've earned that attention, respect, if you will, from the outside world through the people that are in here telling the story, but also from the fans, and more and most importantly through the teammates. So they've provided some energy and some enthusiasm. It's taken away some attention on some veteran-type players that have now been able to find their games. The focus isn't on them quite as much. We're still pushing them behind the scenes to make sure that they're where they need to be. But the mixture has been really good. And the arrival of young players only works if they're accepted. And they're accepted by the group themselves. And our group, I give our veterans credit, even the younger veterans credit, for making these 3 feel comfortable and allowing them to have an impact.
What did you think of Elmer getting back into the lineup last game?
I was happy he did, and I thought he played more like Elmer can play, straight lines, using his big body, his long reach. We need that from him on a nightly basis.
He's a player who, coming up, I think could kind of be defined a little bit by the East-West too, with the hands that he had. Like, how do you coach him to know when to use that part of his game versus those straight lines?
Well, actually, when he has the puck and he's transporting it, he gets the job done for the most part. Sometimes it's the play without the puck where he's got to get reading plays a little bit quicker and north-south anticipation skills. But Elmer's still a young player. Like, everybody wants the finished product. They want it right now. They want it every day, and they want it mistakeless. I don't know who that is. It doesn't even exist in our league. So we've got to give him time, and we've got to work with him and encourage him, and sometimes we've got to poke him a little bit, but he's going to be fine.
Todd, how have rookies changed since you first came into the league coaching, and has your thought process changed about using them, putting them into the lineup right away?
Yeah. Well, it's changed immensely. They get here better prepared. I guess their entourage, I don't know how their team away from the rink is way stronger than yours was probably, Brian, when you were a rookie. Like the help they get from fitness people, nutrition people, the home network, the mental skills. At our age, we never had any of that. We just got into the locker room, we put the gear on, and I think that the team around the players now is a little bit different. They're a little more open and accepting of them. And probably think back to your starting days. You didn't know if you belonged, and probably at Christmas you were still wondering if you belonged, simply the way you were treated sometimes. None of the veterans ever wanted to give up their jobs. Nobody does now. But we allow it to happen because the players are good enough. And then the last thing is their skill level and their talent allows them to fit right in. They're not afraid. They don't play, and maybe we help them with that by putting them on the ice, but they don't play with a big fear factor that if I make a mistake, I'm not one, I'm not going to play tonight. Two, I'm not playing tomorrow. And three, I'm probably going to Grand Rapids. That doesn't happen as often as it did even when I started.
In a way, does that kind of put a little bit of the double-edged sword on potential pressure for a guy, though, too? Where when you talk about all of that, the support base, and they're never been ready more than they are and everything, that's where when a guy doesn't look like, hey, he's ready right away after 4 or 5 games, does it add a little bit more of that on the pressure side on the other end?
You're talking from the player's perspective or the team's?
Yeah.
Well, usually that player knows before we even do that he may not be ready. But he's going to try and push his way through it. Again, I don't think our three are telling us that, and I don't think they feel that way. But I've been around younger players. You're keeping them here, and you're trying to force them into the lineup. And they know before you do, and their play kind of reflects it. They're a little tentative. They're not sure of themselves. They're just going to play a safe game, and they don't work towards their strengths or play towards their strengths. And all of a sudden, it's just not working. And pressure can be one of them. Fear of rejection, not being on the team anymore and having to go work. We live in a hurry-up world right now. The 20-year-olds are expected to be 35 and have that poise, and it doesn't happen that way. They're going to have moments.
We talked a lot about the preseason, right? But I'm just curious, this is a group where next year it's going to be smaller. You got your 3 20-year-olds. They each played 7 games, and then they also played 2 games and a prospect. So they played 9 games before they came to this. That's an opportunity that a lot of future kids are not going to get when it comes to the comfort acclimation time.
Yeah, and I haven't put any thought into that. That's so far away. We know that the exhibition type schedule for next year is limited to 2 per veteran player. Well, if these kids keep going the way they are, they'll be veterans. They're only going to get their 2 games, and then away they go. But, everybody, including the coaching staff, is all going to have to adjust their preparation for a season. Now, it's happened. We played coming out of COVID without any exhibition games. You better know the organization better know their players well, because you don't get 7 games to keep testing them and trying them. And that's hard to do when you don't see them, especially from a coaching perspective.